Okay, you guys, what is up? This is OJ Senpai here today to review Naruto chapter 679. Now, I'm not gonna lie, this chapter did throw me off like a lot. Like, I do have to talk about this. It's probably gonna be my second longest review for today because Hunter x Hunter will take a while, but this one I do have to kind of talk about because I do wonder what Kishimoto's thinking. Now, let's get into the basics and then we'll get into the actual chapter. Story progression, pacing, and artwork. First of all, artwork. I'm gonna have to give that okay plus, or no, actually okay, because what threw me off about this chapter was the artwork was kind of messy. It was vivid and lively, but it was messy. I looked at it, I was like, what the fuck is going on? Yeah, so the artwork I'm gonna give it a rating of okay. Story progression, I'll give that a rating of good, obviously, because this is good story progression. The whole thing with Kaguya being apparently the final villain, at least as far as we know, and the pacing, I'll have to give that a rating of mm, good. So yeah, good pacing. All right, so good pacing, good story progression, and okay plus no okay artwork. I'm gonna have to give that an okay plus rating of the basics. Let's get into the actual chapter. Now, we see that apparently Kaguya is back into the real world now, and she takes over Mado's body. So she apparently she wants peace like Madara does, but in a really twisted way. Apparently, she wants all the rest of the people who are now in the Infinite Tsukiyomi to be in to be all Zetsus, apparently like white Zetsus, and like build up this army of white Zetsu. I have a problem with that because I don't know why she's doing that, but I'll get into that later in the video. And we see pretty much her showing off a little bit of her powers. She's actually throwing Naruto and Sasuke around like fucking ragdolls. Like I mean, Kakashi and Sakura, we already know they can't do shit. But Naruto and Sasuke, it seems like as if they're having a really really hard time. Obviously because Kaguya's powers even exceed Madara's, and Madara is actually putting in work. So I mean, yo, how they're gonna defeat Kaguya by normal means, I have no clue whatsoever. Unless Madara for some reason gets out of like the whole he gets back to his normal body and he can retain control of his mind. Again, I have no clue. But basically, it's like she throws them all like fucking ragdolls at the end of the chapter. She does manage to throw them into this lava pit. I think that's what it is. Like again, the artwork. I looked at it. I was like, yo, like, what the fuck's going on? Especially when it came to especially when it came to her transformation. That threw me off. But so I think it's a lava pit. I'm pretty sure Sasuke can get out of that using his Rinnegan. I'm pretty sure. But we move on basically, and the whole thing with Kakashi and Sakura, I gotta address that before I can address anything else. Sakura, the first thing she needs to realize that she needs to calm the fuck down. She needs to stop trying to save everyone she sees. She needs to just chill the fuck out like she really does. And Kakashi notes this, and then he says, I can't do anything right now. The only thing I can do is make sure that Sakura is safe. And like she's fucking crazy. Like I don't know what's wrong. Like people are always defending Naru Saku, but it doesn't make any sense because Sakura is like she doesn't care about Naruto. Even in this chapter, she says Sasuke's name first before Naruto. That obviously tells you that she cares a lot more about Sasuke than she cares about Naruto, at least in a love relationship type sense. And she's just gone crazy. I don't know what's wrong. I don't know whether it's because of the fact that she feels useless, that she has to feel like she has to prove herself. But at this point, there's no point. Like you really, if I were Sakura, I would just pretend to be like a normal ninja. Like don't be on Naruto and Sasuke's level because you're nowhere close. But anyways, that's that. But let's get into the actual problem that I have with this chapter. First things first, Madara apparently turns into Kaguya. Kaguya is possibly the final villain of the Naruto series. Okay, so let me be honest here. I don't like this, at least as much as I used to. I don't like this, at least like as much as I should. Kaguya, obviously, it makes sense for her to be the final villain because she is the progenitor, well, not the progenitor, the person who originally gained chakra. She's the first person to gain chakra, and because of that, she is literally considered to be a goddess. She's above all creatures. That's pretty much obvious. Even Sasuke and Naruto, who are the reincarnations of Indra and Ashura. But the problem is that we haven't seen Kaguya. You know, we don't have as much info on Kaguya. Actually, not even that. We don't have that much hype for Kaguya compared to Madara. Madara has been hyped since part one, bro. We're talking about part one Naruto. Before we even knew about this whole six path stuff. He's been hyped since even then. And it makes sense for him to be the final villain. More sense than it makes for Kaguya. Despite the fact that Kaguya is the first person to ever use chakra and therefore she's a goddess, it doesn't make sense because she hasn't had that much hype compared to what Madara has. So for her to take over Madara's body and literally be, at least as far as we know, because I don't know how it's going to work out now, at least for her to be the final villain, it seems too rushed. And because she doesn't have that much hype, I can't say that it's really a good thing. I really can't. I don't know. Like maybe I'm skeptical. Maybe I'm just going into it a little bit too hard. But I don't think that it's going to. I don't think it's going to be a good thing. But I could be wrong. Like I really could be wrong. Because no, Kishimoto did say in his interview that first it would be Obito, then the Jubi, then like first Obito, then the Jubi, then Madara. Wait, no, hold on. I got that wrong. First, Obito, then Madara, then the Jubi, and then we have Sasuke. And pretty much that means Senju, aka Kaguya. So he's following it in order. But the fact of the matter is that there's not that much hype for the goddess itself. Like, and because of that, you really can't consider like her to be like a really good final villain because there's barely any hype. Like she's only had like what 10 to 15 chapters of hype. That's pretty much it. Madara, ever since part one, bro, like, ever since part one, he's had hype. So we'll see where this goes. It might actually be good for the series. I don't know, but again, I don't know how this is going to work out. And of course, Kaguya is way too fucking strong. Let's be honest. Now let's get into the whole part with what Kaguya said. At the beginning, she immediately said, "Are you guys reincarnations of Hagoromo and Hamura?" But no, then she says, "Oh no, you guys are reincarnations of Ashura and Indra." Now we find out apparently that's the Hagoromo's brother's name is Haruma, Hamura. So the irrelevant brother actually has a name. Um, I mean, Kishimoto just showed the brother for like a few seconds and then just forgot about him entirely, and now he's actually giving him like an actual name. So I don't know exactly what she means by that, like why she immediately thought of that at first, because like we see no, not Kakashi, Sasuke and Naruto. One has the sun, one has the moon on their hands and stuff, and I guess maybe that means that maybe Hagoromo might have had like the sun or the moon, and Hamura might have had the sun or the moon. We don't really know for sure, but that might have been it. That might have been what happened. I don't know for sure, but that is pretty interesting. And at the end of the chapter, we do see pretty much like Sasuke and Naruto being tossed into this lava pit. So, and of course, Sasuke and Naruto most likely get out. Because you have to be honest with yourselves. Why would Sasuke and Naruto become White Zetsu? They would become like the most OP White Zetsu ever, and that could be a huge problem. Especially because they're White Zetsu. I mean, let's be honest. So, I think this is a good thing. Like this is a good plan because obviously they can't turn into White Zetsu. That'll be a huge problem. Sasuke most likely will help Naruto and they'll get out of the whole lava pit deal. So because Sasuke can warp like through time and space and shit, although it's not like unlimited. So yeah, I'm gonna give this chapter a rating of okay. It was an okay chapter. Again, I'm not a big fan of the whole Kaguya being the final villain. I really don't like that whatsoever. But what can we do? We just have to move on forward. Naruto's ending soon anyway, so let's not worry about it. Let's not, beat the bush. So yeah, like the video if you like it. Dislike it if you don't. This chapter gets a rating of okay, and I'll see you guys later. Be sure, of course, rate, comment, and subscribe. What are your thoughts on this? Do you guys like this whole final villain thing with Kaguya? What are your guys' thoughts on the White Zetsu army? That threw me off. But anyways, yeah, I'm Moshi Senpai, and I'm out. Peace, guys.